So I want to continue our Living In series until I've covered all of the smaller and outlying cities around the Treasure Valley and around Boise. And so I wanted to make sure that I covered Emmett. So let's talk about Emmett, Idaho. What's up, everybody? This is Shawn Tomich with the Living in Boise group, and if this is your first time to the channel, then make sure to subscribe and click the bell and do all the things, the notification bell. That's one that I always forget to mention. Make sure and click the notification bell because that will notify you whenever I make a new video for you. Now, thank you so much to all of you that checked out my last week's video about CUNA. Like I said, I want to go ahead and make sure and cover and touch all of these outlying cities because people ask me about all of these cities all the time. So I want to make sure and cover all those. And Emmett is absolutely one that we do need to cover and that I have not covered yet. Last week I had a really successful week. I had a lot of reach outs, a couple calls, a couple emails, a couple Zoom calls. I had one FaceTime call. But last week I was able to get 2 of my relocation clients pending on some beautiful homes here in the Treasure Valley. So that was awesome. So my clients, Leslie and Mike, coming from all the way from Warren, Oregon, we found them this beautiful, beautiful 3-bedroom, 2-bath with an RV bay, single level out in Caldwell that they absolutely love. Now this is just a couple clips of me. They were out of town, and so for the walkthrough and the blue tape walkthrough with this new construction home that they've found, I had to go and take care of that for them while they were out of town. So this is just a couple clips of the inside of the home and kind of showing you around and what their home looks like and this beautiful butler pantry that they have. And they're actually going to be out of town until after we close on their home, on their new home. So, and that's really about 75 to 80% of my clients. That's the situation that they're in. And they usually get a little bit of concern like, hey, should we do this? What happens when we close? If we're not going to be there to get our keys, secure the home, etc. Just so you know, when you're relocating to Idaho and you call me and my team and you work with me or someone on my team, which 99% of the time you're working with me. But if you're working with myself or someone on my team, just know that anything that needs to transpire once you've closed that home, before you've closed that home, anything that needs to happen, we are going to be here to make sure all of that happens. I am a full service agent, and so when that home closes, I go out, I get the keys, I secure the home, I make sure that the heater's on if it's in the dead of winter, I go out and flush the toilets, make sure everything's going, come in and bring in the packages that have been delivered. I bring in your mail that's been delivered, take notices off the doors, things like that. Things that I need to do until you're able to get into town and secure your home. Now, I also had another one of my clients, Matthew and Alicia, who are all the way from West Philadelphia, born and raised. Born and raised. No, I'm just teasing. But from Philadelphia, actually from here, moved to Philadelphia, has an investment property here. We're selling his investment property right now. I just got that pending a couple weeks ago. And because of that, we are helping him get ready to move into a very beautiful little 4-bedroom, 3-bath home in the heart of Boise. And he's super stoked about that and super excited about getting to come back home and come to a new job that he just accepted here. And he's really excited about that, him and his family. So again, thanks to all of you that did reach out last week. And if you already know that Boise's the place for you and the Treasure Valley's the place for you, then just go ahead and give me a call, email, text, days, nights, weekends. Myself, my team, we've got your back when it comes to moving to Boise and the Treasure Valley. And also Emmett. So let's talk about Emmett. So if you're looking for 360-degree mountain views and to be able to look out and just see this beautiful panoramic mountain scene every time you come outside of your house, and if you want close access to a nice reservoir that you could be boating on within pretty much 10 minutes of anywhere in town. And if you like a small town feel that feels like Mayberry with close access to hunting, fishing, trails, off-roading, outdoors, any of that stuff, Emmett's probably the place for you. Now, Emmett sits about 45 to 50 minutes away from Boise, and you take this really cool 2-lane highway all the way from Eagle to Emmett. And before you get all the way out there, you actually have to pass River Birch Golf Course, which is a really nice course of ours that was built in 2004. So it's one of our newer courses. It's not going to have like a lot of, really big, huge old trees on it, but it's still a very, very gorgeous course. Once you pass that, and again, before you get all the way out to Emmett, the other thing that you're actually going to pass is Firebird Raceway. Firebird Raceway is our official NHRA drag strip quarter-mile track. And I can tell you that I personally have quarter-miled out there. I'll try to find a couple pictures that I can throw up right now of my 72 Ford Gran Torino that had a 351 Cleveland with nitrous oxide on it, which was a lot of fun, I can tell you. But I did find pictures of it in my daughter's room, hanging on her wall. Apparently, well, my daughter was into cars, so that's where I found it. So Firebird is a really cool place. It's really fun to go out there and watch the drags. They have a lot of swap meets out there. They have test and tune days where you can literally bring kind of any car out there and run it on the drag as long as it, meets their safety requirements and all those things. Like, you can't be spilling oil and being able to go down the track, but you can pretty much on test and tune days bring anything out and run it down the track. So that's kind of fun. There's high school nights, so the high schools compete against each other. So instead of kids going out and drag racing out on the streets and getting their cars impounded and getting put in jail, Firebird puts on competitions between high schools. So the high schools can actually take their cars out there, race them legally. It's a ton of fun. But Firebird's really cool. My favorite event that they have out there every year is the Night Fire Nationals. And that's the one where they get all of the drag race funny cars out there, and they'll get the rocket fuel cars out there and cars that are just extremely loud. They do it in the middle of dark and at night, so you can see it, you can feel it, you can smell it. It's just a lot of fun. It's really cool. Now, once you get past Firebird Raceway, you're going to basically come in between two peaks of mountains, and you're going to come out into this beautiful bowl. And I'll kind of show you some pictures and some videos here, but you'll come out into this beautiful bowl and look down onto the Emmett Valley, which it's just absolutely gorgeous coming in and seeing that sitting there and seeing, again, how scenic it is. Now, Emmett is absolutely one of our old farm town cities, and it absolutely feels that way, has always felt that way, and still feels that way today. When you walk around Emmett and you walk around downtown and you walk around the city, what you're going to learn is it's old. It's very old. This is not a new modern city. You don't have a lot of options for shopping. You don't have a lot of options for grocery shopping. In fact, you have a Bi-Mart, which is, if you don't know what a Bi-Mart is, it's a shopping center that you're going to find in a lot of smaller cities. And I would compare it to a combination of Walmart, Fred Meyer's, and Albertsons. It's kind of like that. So you have a Bi-Mart in the middle of town because, again, it's a small city, so they have a Bi-Mart. And then you also have an Albertsons for your grocery shopping. So you do have an Albertsons, which actually is a really good choice for your shopping. But again, you don't have a lot of choices. And if you want to go buy some clothes or anything like that, you're really not doing that in Emmett. You're going to have to go to Boise or Eagle or Meridian or any of those other cities. Now, you'll have a couple restaurant options and a couple fast food options and a couple options for food, but they're not going to be any that you've heard of. In fact, let's see, I've got a little list. One of the restaurants that you could dine at would be Blue Ribbon Cafe and Bakery, or Rowan's Drive-In, or Triangle Restaurant. Yeah, I don't know, Triangle Restaurant. Tom's Cabin Cafe, interesting name, and Idaho Pizza Company. Now, if you're a local, that place is known. Idaho Pizza Company pretty much has multiple pizza locations in pretty much every city we have. And so absolutely there's one in Emmett. And again, it is a good choice for pizza. Really good pizza. But the theme is, and the point I'm trying to get across to you is, again, it's very small town. They do have a McDonald's and they do have a Taco Bell.
I can't go to Taco Bell. I'm on an all-carb diet.
But again, you need to understand what this town is like and what it's like in comparison to the other cities in the Treasure Valley, and know what locals think about and what their opinion is about this town. And the reason for that is because if you end up shopping and finding this beautiful Hubble home in the middle of Caldwell, and that's what you have me help you obtain, and you're talking to a coworker and you are sit down and you said, yes, I just bought this beautiful Hubble home in the middle of Caldwell and I absolutely love it, and your coworker looks at you like you have the plague and walks away from you, you're going to be calling me saying, Shawn, what did you sell me? And freaking out and upset at me. But the only reason for that is because for some reason you thought you were getting a custom built home by a custom built home builder, which is not Hubble Homes, they're a production builder. And you were getting it in a place like Eagle, like a really sought after area of ours, but no, you ended up in Caldwell, a place that is the opposite of Eagle. And if you did that without the knowledge of these cities and actually knowing what locals actually really truly think about these cities, and not knowing that if you ask a local from Boise to Caldwell, where would you live? And Boise would be first and Caldwell would be the very last city. These are things that you need to know. What I've also noticed is that when you watch these other channels, that's not really what they're making these cities out to sound like. They're trying to make Emmett sound like it's this holy moly beautiful town that if you're lucky enough to find a home in it and move to it, you're going to be so stoked. Well, if you come from a big city that has a lot of amenities, you're not going to be very stoked because you don't know what Emmett is and you don't know what Caldwell is. But if you do understand what these cities are because you watch a channel like mine with someone that's actually going to tell you the truth, you'll be very happy because you'll understand, your expectations will be set on what you're going to get. The point I'm trying to get across is you need to know what it is you're getting into. You need to know about the city and you need to know the truth. So like I said, if you follow my channel, you already know, I tell you the truth. I don't tell you anything to sell you anything. If you want it, call me, I'll take care of it for you, okay? All right, getting back down to this list. So the negatives about Emmett, it's old. Emmett's really old. Like I told you, it's not a modern town. So if you want an old, small town vibe with beautiful views, that's the place for you. But if you want a very modern town with lots of shopping and lots of bars and entertainment and those types of things, Emmett is not the place for you. Emmett is very small. It's one of those small town cities where, you're probably going to know what your neighbors are doing. Your neighbors are going to know what you're doing. And Sue and Joanne down the road, they know what Bobby and Joanne are doing down the road. And it's small. Like I said, really the only other couple of cons I want to say is, like I said, there's not many options for shopping. There's not many options for restaurants. There's a couple local restaurants. There's no chain restaurants, which some people love that. But some people like options. There's not a lot of shopping, a lot of options for grocery shopping. So these are things, again, you got to know. So what are the pros? Well, Emmett's absolutely beautiful. Stunning views. Like I've already said, you can walk out of your home and see 360-degree stunning mountain views because you're sitting inside this nice little bowl and kind of like a canyon area. So you wake up and you can see this beautiful sunrise coming over the mountains, and at night you can watch the sunset going over the other side, and it's just absolutely gorgeous. Now, Emmett has a lot of orchards, and Emmett grows a lot of cherries. So they produce a lot of cherries every year. And so one of the things that you'll notice about our little small cities, and kind of like I told you last week in last week's video about CUNA, is our little cities have these ways that we celebrate our little cities every summer. And we also celebrate like the agriculture and whatnot. So in Meridian, every summer they do Meridian Dairy Days, and they even crown a dairy princess. Imagine that. Imagine being the dairy princess of Meridian, Idaho. Sheesh. My daughters hate it when I do that on my channel.
Embarrassing.
Anyway, so, but then Emmett does the same thing. So every year Emmett has the Emmett Cherry Festival. And this is a really big deal and a huge festival. It draws a lot of people every year. It's very similar to CUNA's CUNA Days. You're gonna start out with Friday with a big kids parade and have a big celebration in the park and have food and just, anything you can do. You're gonna have a cherry pit spit contest to see who can spit a cherry pit the furthest. That is hard to say. I'm not even gonna lie. Of course, they have a cherry pie eating contest because you have to have a pie eating contest at the Emmett Cherry Festival, right? Now, also you'll notice Emmett's really big on cars. So muscle cars, hot rods, show cars, all of those things. Emmett's big on it. So they have a very big, very cool car show that Saturday at the Cherry Festival as well. So you could win that even. Now, I even had, so I put my 72 Ford Torino, I had that one at the Meridian Dairy Days. I would put that one in Dairy Days. And then when I had my 1970 Mustang Mach 1, I would put that one at the Emmett Cherry Festival to see if I could get anything there. But that was a lot of fun, and it's always a lot of fun to drive your hot rod from, your small city to another small city and put it in a car show. And these are the kind of things that we get to do here. Now, right now, when I search the MLS, there's 128 active listings currently on the MLS and available in Emmett. 34 of those are new construction listings with a median home price of about $459, and 94 of those are resale listings with a median home price of about $599 for a 4-bedroom, 3-bath, single level, 2,450 square foot beautiful home. So you'll notice that the same thing that's happening in Emmett is the same thing we discovered that was happening in CUNA, and that new construction is actually less expensive or more affordable in Emmett than resale, and it's because the home seller, the you and me out there, we can afford to wait for the perfect buyer to come along, and we can afford to continue making our mortgage payments. But the builder out there cannot continue to do that. He can't keep that home on his books every single month. He can't keep writing interest payments and mortgage payments to the bank on all of these. So they absolutely have to get aggressive in pricing. They absolutely have to reduce their pricing and their values to get people into those homes more aggressively than resale homes do. Now, if Emmett sounds like it's the place for you, and the Treasure Valley and Meridian and CUNA and all these little towns, all you've got to do is you just have to call me, email me, text me, days, nights, weekends. Myself, my team, we've got your back when it comes to moving to Boise, Emmett, all these small towns in the Treasure Valley. We'll see you next time.